He woke up to the sound of his alarm clock. He groaned and reached for the snooze button, but it was too late. The radio was already blaring the news.
Good morning. This is Radio 1. The weather is sunny and warm, with a high of 25 degrees Celsius. In the headlines today, a massive explosion rocked the city center last night, killing at least 50 people and injuring hundreds more. The authorities suspect a terrorist attack, but no group has claimed responsibility yet. The police have cordoned off the area and are investigating the scene. Stay tuned for more updates on this breaking story.
He felt a surge of panic and confusion. He had heard this exact same news yesterday, and the day before, and the day before that. He was stuck in a time loop, reliving the same day over and over again. He didn't know how or why it happened, but he knew he had to find a way out. He got out of bed and looked around his apartment. Everything was exactly as he left it the previous night. The same clothes on the floor, the same dishes in the sink, the same books on the shelf. He had tried to change things, to leave clues for himself, to do something different, but nothing worked. Every morning, he woke up to the same reality. He decided to go out and see if he could find any answers. He put on his jacket and grabbed his keys. He opened the door and stepped into the hallway. He was greeted by a familiar sight. His neighbor, Mrs. Garcia, was standing outside her door, holding a tray of cookies. "Hello, dear. Would you like a cookie? I just baked them this morning. They're chocolate chip, your favorite." He smiled politely and took one. He had done this many times before. He knew she was a sweet old lady who liked to bake and chat. He also knew she was going to die in a few hours. He had seen it happen. A gas leak in her apartment caused a fire that engulfed the whole building. He had tried to save her, to warn her, to stop it, but he couldn't. He was powerless to change anything. He ate the cookie and made some small talk. He pretended to be interested in her stories about her grandchildren and her garden. He nodded and smiled and said goodbye. He walked down the stairs and out of the building. He saw the same people he saw every day. The mailman, the jogger, the dog walker, the bus driver. They all said the same things, did the same things, and acted the same way. He felt like he was in a movie, watching the same scene over and over again. He got on the bus and headed to the city center. He had a vague hope that maybe he could find the source of the explosion, the cause of the loop, the key to his escape. He had explored every corner of the city, every street, every building, every shop. But he had found nothing. No clues, no hints, no anomalies. Everything was normal except for him. He got off the bus and walked towards the cordoned off area. He saw the same police officers, the same firefighters, the same reporters. They all looked busy and serious, but he knew they were wasting their time. They would never find the culprit, the motive, the device. He had searched for them too, but he had found nothing. No traces, no evidence, no leads. Everything was a mystery, except for him. He crossed the yellow tape and entered the blast zone. He saw the same rubble, the same smoke, the same blood. He smelled the same stench, the same fire, the same death. He heard the same screams, the same sirens, the same silence. He felt the same horror, the same sadness, the same numbness. He had witnessed this scene many times before, but he never got used to it. He never stopped caring. He walked among the debris, looking for survivors, looking for answers, looking for anything. He found nothing. No signs of life, no signs of hope, no signs of change. Everything was the same except for him. He was about to give up and leave when he saw something that caught his eye. Something that was different. Something that was new. It was a piece of paper, half burned and stained with blood. It was lying on the ground, next to a severed hand. He picked it up and read it. It was a note written in a shaky handwriting. It said, "I'm sorry. I can't take it anymore. I have to end this. I have to end the loop. I have to end myself. Forgive me." He felt a chill run down his spine. He looked at the note again, and then at the hand. He recognized it. It was his own hand. He looked at his left arm and saw that it was missing. He felt a sudden pain, a sudden shock, a sudden realization. He dropped the note and screamed. He had found the source of the explosion, the cause of the loop, the key to his escape. It was him. He was the terrorist. He was the victim. He was the loop. He had planted the bomb. He had triggered the blast. He had created the cycle. He didn't know how or why, but he knew he had to stop it. He ran out of the blast zone, looking for help, looking for salvation, looking for anything. He found nothing. No one saw him. No one heard him. No one helped him. Everyone was the same, except for him. He collapsed on the sidewalk, bleeding and crying. He looked at the sky and prayed. He prayed for forgiveness. He prayed for mercy. He prayed for death. He got nothing. No answer, no relief, no end. Nothing was the same, except for him. He closed his eyes and waited. He waited for the night. He waited for the dawn. He waited for the loop. He waited for anything. He got nothing. Nothing changed, except for him. And then he woke up to the sound of his alarm clock